Good morning. The Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation will come to order. Today we'll consider three nominees: Harry Kumar, Joyce Meyer, and Seva Laws, who are headed to the Departments of Commerce and Transportation. We'll also take up a bipartisan reauthorization of pipeline safety programs and the Rotor Act in response to the tragic aviation accident at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport in January. First, a word about the Bipartisan Pipeline Safety Act of 2025. As the energy capital of the world, millions of jobs nationally and in Texas depend upon the safe and reliable movement of energy. The Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration, or PHMSA, has the critical task of overseeing more than 3 million miles of oil, natural gas, and other liquid pipelines that move energy across this country every single day. The Pipeline Safety Act, which I introduced along with Ranking Member Cantwell and Senators Young and Peters, is an important, consensus-driven bill that directs PHMSA to address key pipeline safety challenges. First, this bill authorizes appropriations for PHMSA's pipeline safety programs for 5 years, giving the agency the time and resources it needs to address critical priorities. The bill updates safety rules for storage tanks that are currently in use. It lets pipeline operators test new and more modern safety technologies in real-world conditions, and it guards against risks from pipelines made with composite materials. The bill also strengthens state call-before-you-dig programs and addresses the safety of hydrogen natural gas blending and carbon dioxide pipelines. I want to thank the members of this committee for sharing their priorities, dozens of which, from both sides of the aisle, are reflected in this bill. A brief word about the other bipartisan bills on today's markups. Two of them, Senator Wicker's Integrated Ocean Observation System Reauthorization Act of 2025 and Senator Baldwin's Digital Coast Act, support the gathering and accessibility of ocean and forecasting data. That information may prove helpful for fishermen, who will be pleased to see that we're also reporting out Senator Sullivan's and Young's Fishermen Development Extension Act. Senator Young's Global Investment in American Jobs Act calls for a review of our ability to attract foreign direct investment from responsible private businesses in allied countries. Senator Ernst's National STEM Week Act would establish a week to promote education in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, an important recognition of the growing number of U.S. jobs that require STEM skills. Senator Budd's Foreign Robocall Elimination Act would establish an interagency task force to report on foreign-initiated robocalls. With advances in technology, illegal robocalls are being made from all over the world more cheaply than ever. It is high time that we protect Americans, especially seniors, from these annoying and unwanted attempts to bilk them out of their money. Finally, we'll turn to the Rotor Act, which I introduced in July with Senators Moran, Blackburn, Budd, Capito, Marshall, Schmidt, Sheehy, and Young. The substitute amendment, which we negotiated with the Democrats and is co-sponsored by Senators Cantwell, Capito, Klobuchar, Budd, Duckworth, Blackburn, Markey, and Young, closes a dangerous loophole that allowed military aircraft to operate in domestic skies without communicating their position quickly and accurately to other aviators like commercial aircraft do. This legislation requires all aircraft operating in congested airspace to equip with ADS-B in, which will enable planes to receive position signals from other aircraft, something the NTSB has recommended for decades. And Chairwoman Hamady, welcome. Thank you for being here. It also directs the FAA to conduct more in-depth safety reviews at airports with nearby helicopter traffic to better coordinate communication between the FAA and the Pentagon. And it requires the Army Inspector General to review for systemic failures that may have contributed to the January crash at DCA. Lastly, I want to recognize the families of the victims who are here today. In particular, Sherry Lilly, whose stepson Sam was the first officer for the American Airlines Flight 5342. Sherry is with us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your advocacy. As are Jim, Wynn, and Sally Jo, who lost family members Yu and Eddie Jo, and Kayon Mao. Without the families, the Rotor Act would not be happening. As National Transportation Safety Board Chairwoman Jennifer Homendy said, this legislation will save lives. I'll now turn to Ranking Member Cantwell for her opening remarks.